You're watching NZOWN. It's a very hot and muggy day here in Auckland City, but I am joined by one of New Zealand's coolest bands, hopefully will be cooling me down, the Brunettes. Jonathan and Heather, welcome to the show, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Now, you guys have just returned to New Zealand from a bit of a tour overseas on sort of, following up from the release of your latest album, Structure and Cosmetics. How has everything been, or how did the tour go?
It went pretty well. It's pretty exciting. It was our first headlining show in the States, and then we went to Europe. And
First time in Europe?
First time in Europe, personally, and for the band.
Yes.
And for Jonathan personally.
Yeah, very exciting. Visiting all those places, historical places.
Yeah, and we went to, we spent a really intense 3 days in Istanbul, in Turkey, and checked out lots of mosques and did all those crazy kind of touristy things, I suppose, that you don't, I didn't imagine I'd ever get to do. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Now, obviously, you guys have spent quite a bit of time on the road since you've been together for such a long time. Do you ever get to the point where you're like, oh, I'm so over this, like I just want to stop?
Well, this is kind of still, prior to going over with and touring the States, I've got this one, it's all right. We had only we were just playing Auckland, going down and maybe playing Hamilton if we could get enough people to come out, and then playing Wellington, Dunedin, Christchurch, awesome time, and then we'd play Melbourne and Sydney now and then when we could afford to go over there. So it's actually relatively new. It feels like still quite a new thing for me.
Novelty factor. Yeah.
Even though we've been, with the Brunettes for 8 years in New Zealand, we've actually it's only been in the last 2-3 years that we've managed to get to the United States, and this is our first release over there. So we're quite a new band for those audiences, so it's fun. It's new for all of us. It's good.
Yeah. But I mean, right now, in New Zealand, you're not obviously not that much of a new band. You've just released your third full-length studio album, so you've been around for some time. But I wanted to ask you, when you guys first started up, you did have quite a niche kind of sound, something which no other bands, or none that I know of sort of at that time were doing. Did you find it hard to kind of break through, to New Zealand audiences?
I guess, we're playing cafes and smaller places, and often playing with bands that are doing totally different things, but a lot of the time people come out and they don't necessarily want to see 3 bands who are doing whatever pop music or whatever we're doing. But it's much easier these days. I think there's a lot more bands doing whatever indie pop is, or kind of twee pop or whatever.
The live music scene's a lot healthier these days.
Yeah, and that's also true. Yeah.
So it's good for all bands involved.
Now, the album Structure and Cosmetics, it is, as we said before, your third full-length studio album. How do you feel that the Brunettes have changed, personally and musically, since your first album?
More jaded, I think.
Yeah, darker. A lot darker these days.
Darker and jaded.
I think I've produced the Brunettes recorded material since we started, and I think I'm getting better at using recording equipment.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I guess employed a few more modern production techniques over time. I was pretty focused on replicating sounds that I was really inspired by, a lot of 60s recordings.
In the first album.
When the first album came out, and since then, I'm just inspired by a lot of other stuff, and I think that reflects in the production on the latest album, and Yeah, and I think as far as your songwriting and stuff, you kind of, with the other albums, there's been certain kind of tended towards shorter pop songs, like 3 minute, the 3 minute pop song kind of blueprint, and so lately
it's just been more self-indulgent.
Lazy with it.
Just save on the editing and just leave it all in, Yeah.
Now, you guys are about to head off overseas again some tours, but before you go in February, you're going to be playing some dates in New Zealand. Can you tell us when they are?
I know our first date, we're going to play the Laneway Festival in Australia at a few different places, and our first show's on the 24th of February. So we're playing an Auckland show and a Wellington show a couple of weeks before then, so maybe like the 14th and 15th.
Yeah,
something like that.
That's right. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we're not sure, because putting you on the spot here.
Yeah. I'll put it up on MySpace or our website.
And what's the addresses for those, just for the NZOWN viewers out there that don't know?
He doesn't know. It's the brunettes.co.nz and then just myspace.com, / the Brunettes. Or just Google it, it's real easy to find.
Yeah. You're actually the first, when I put Brunettes in, before the Brunette Busty Babes, you guys are first.
Yeah, we're getting up there, aren't we?
Nice.
Awesome. Well, look, Jonathan and Heather, thank you so much for joining me today on NZOWN.
Thanks for having
us. And look, best of luck with everything that you do in the future. I just, I expect, everything's going to get even bigger and better for you, unless, of course, you
just want it to get smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep it real.
But we're going to cut now to a video that you guys have just recently released from the album Structure Cosmetics. It's called BABY. Do you have anything that you'd like to say about the vid before we go to it?
Some really nice people made it for us in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we were a breath of fresh air for them because they had just finished making a music video for Slayer at the time, which involved 90 gallons of milk turned into blood. And so I think our hardest prop was 2 puppy dogs.
Yeah.
So
both parties were ready to embrace it, more of a pop aesthetic.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Look, it's a fantastic video from a fantastic band. And here it is right now. This is the Brunettes, and this is BABY. You're watching NZOWN.